Dude, I hope that rash clears up. That sounds disgusting. Anyways, let's do this podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to the Professional Interns Podcast. It's a comedy advice podcast where you write in to me and Noah, and we debate Team Jacob versus Team the other one.
Jacob was the only right answer anyways, right? Like,
I guess I'd have to be Team other one. I forget. I thought of this right before I started talking. I can't think of it. I want to say Team Adam, and I know that's wrong.
I want to be Team Robert Patterson. I think Jacob's the werewolf. I think
yeah, he is the werewolf.
So I'm whatever Robert Patterson is. I actually watched those somewhat recently, the Twilight movies, and for some reason it's just not ringing a bell.
Yeah, why can't I think of the name? I think this just shows our overall media literacy. It's really poor. But Noah, how are you doing?
It's Edward.
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 Team Edward.
I'm doing well. What about you, Jamie? I feel like it's been a minute. Not for the viewers, of course, but for you and I feel like it's been a minute. We, just in case anyone doesn't know, Noah and I don't talk. Like, I made the joke beginning of last episode that we're having a deteriorating friendship. It's gone. It's gone. I don't want to speak to him if there's not a podcast mic and two panels behind me. You know, I don't want to speak to you. I save all my banter to get it out in this 1 hour, 15 minutes. And then I'm like, close that book.
Yeah. This podcast for us is kind of like talking to your in-laws.
It's like a therapy appointment. Like,
okay.
You kind of need it on the calendar to, stay level-headed. But once you're done with it, you feel like it's a weight off the shoulders. Then once the next time it comes up, it's like, I still need to do that. It helps, but does it really help?
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah. I love when we start off the podcast by a butchered Twilight reference and then just dogging on our own content. But hey, it's better than the way we've been starting the pod, where it was me begging for reviews. And you might be wondering, hey, well, why aren't you doing the beg for the reviews this time? Because y'all came through.
Let's go.
We got a handful.
What did they review us on?
I only looked on Spotify, to be quite honest.
That's the only one that matters.
It's the only one I cared about. And handful of reviews came in. And y'all said 5 stars. So that's really clutch, you guys.
What's up, baby?
Real
what
big.
Is up, baby? Let's go.
Let's be honest. We don't deserve no 5 stars.
Dude, we write these. We write up this like script 10 minutes before the podcast. I know you cannot tell by the quality that happens here, but it's quick. It's quick.
Yeah. I've had people in my like real life start asking me about the podcast, and I just gotta, I would prefer they didn't, but it's fine. And my favorite thing is when people are like, "Oh, what do you talk about?" Because it's like I'm really trying to defy the stereotype of like, let's start a podcast, like classic dude. I don't really think I am defying that stereotype. I think I'm exactly the person who falls into it, but
I had a family gathering. The fam came over, and for some reason, everyone's like, "So who's that kid you started the podcast with? Who is that? How do you know him?" I was like, "Dude, that's my boy." And then somebody goes,
"It's my coworker."
my cousin, he's younger. I think he's like 15 or 16, and goes, "Doesn't he have a YouTube?" And I was, he must have crept on you on Instagram or something. I was like, yeah, he's the more popular one out of the couple.
Dude, I got
Jamie
I got
brings
niche
the
clout,
fans.
baby. Niche clout.
Jamie brings the niche clout. I bring the looks. It's just how it's worked out.
I couldn't do it without the sex appeal, baby. Couldn't do it. All right, I've got the cash. You got the ass.
Oh, there it is.
I don't know. That one just came off the tongue, and I honestly think that was wrong, and it should.
You were waiting to use that. You were waiting to use that.
I have it written on my palm. The cash, the ass. Now, Noah, infamously, this is what everyone's talking about.
Yep.
Last episode, I executed the bait clip meme.
Oh, yeah, we did.
That I wanted to do.
Was that last episode or the episode before?
That was, well, I guess it was the episode before for the people listening.
Okay.
Sorry, my brain is like
tell them what the bait clip was. Let's give them a little background.
So reminder, we were talking about Valentine's Day, and I said, again, this didn't actually happen. I said that I didn't buy my girlfriend anything for Valentine's Day because I don't believe in gifts, because I never got gifts growing up. And the real gift of all was the hustle I got from that.
Yep.
Very evidently bait. And dude, it worked so well on TikTok.
You had people pissed.
It was, people got, like, look, we got a lot of people checking the profile after that. So, mission successful. But people were being really hateful to me. I'm going to read a few of the comments people
I saw multiple comments that were like, let's start a podcast. And I think that was hey bro, let's start a podcast. Was that it? That was like the most liked comment.
One of the top comments, quote, bro, let's start a podcast. Nice. Nobody said this when we were debating Marshalls versus like Home Goods and H&M. That was prime let's start a podcast top conversation. No one was saying nothing. Somebody said this is the best comment. He looks like someone who didn't get gifts.
What does somebody look like who doesn't get gifts?
Apparently, you're looking at him.
That's a rough one. Yeah.
For audio listeners, you're listening to him. And it was just a lot of people really hating me.
Dogging.
Some people were like, "Oh, this is really sad." like they thought it was real, but they were like, "Oh, they didn't." Damn. They went a level deeper, so shout out to them. But the rest of them hated me.
Jamie, I feel like you think you're just. I think it's you have that look. You gotta look. It's the tie. It's the coming in here with the button down and tie and jumping on a podcast. It's tough. It's a tough place out here for gingers and button downs and ties. That's all I'm saying.
Dude, when we started the pod, I thought that like my background would do numbers. I thought people would be like, this kid's recording a podcast in the office. Like that's crazy. Now, like nobody has ever mentioned it, never once.
Nope.
But now I'm hard committed to the bit of wearing a tie, and this is a spoiler, not to break the illusion. I'm not in an office building right now, so I really just have to deal with storing these things, and they're heavy. They're really heavy.
For the audio listeners, Jamie has two of those like soundproof wall panels behind him that he just has set up in his bedroom.
Yeah, office partitions.
The office partitions, like if you're in a cubicle, he has those set up in his bedroom. So they take up, I imagine, a fair amount of space, even when not recording.
Yeah, I use them as a headboard now, and it's really funny because like I trashily didn't have a headboard before. I don't know why. I don't know what I did.
Do you actually use them as a headboard?
It's the only. They're just like such an awkward shape. It's the only place I can really sneak them in my my room. Nice. So I use them as a headboard, and actually, it's kind of nice.
Keeps it a little quieter in there.
But these are like, I think they're legitimately 80 pounds each.
And you have to pull those out every time you get on, just in case the visual listeners want to see the little bit you got going on that you have going on forever.
Yeah.
You gotta lift some weights. It keeps you young, keeps you loose.
Yo, if I sell out real early on the podcast, just know it's so we could get a set. All right, you see me doing the titles one. We always talk about the titles. I never remember what it is. Established titles. You see me ripping an established. You hear me ripping a BetterHelp ad. I'm just trying to get out of the bedroom. But people hated me, and I found that very funny. For like a minute, I was like, I have to reveal that these people are stupid, and I'm like, no, this is the whole. No, I set this up.
That's the funny part. Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned the BetterHelp ad. Have you? Okay, this might be a far reach. You know Paul George, the basketball player, right?
Yeah, I know of him. Yep.
he's been doing a podcast, but he's done more podcast episodes this season than he has played games since the season started because he's been injured. And he's ripping podcast ads. And people are like, dude, you're making $50 million on your NBA contract. And this dude's ripping, like, honestly, probably BetterHelp ads and your established title ads on his podcast. And it just feels so disingenuous for him to be talking about the NBA when he's on an NBA team and he's talking about while his team is like on the road and he's sitting in his house ripping a podcast ad. It just feels wrong on so many levels.
Yeah, I feel like it would really tear up the locker room a little bit there. It would just be like annoying. Like,
they call him
new pod.
It just feels a little distasteful, maybe, that you're not playing the sport that you have the podcast on, that the sport gave you the podcast, and you're talking about the sport. It just feels like there's some sort of disconnect there. I imagine probably does not feel great in the locker room. That is, I'd be popping his podcast on full volume on the JBL in the locker room, just make it real awkward. While I'm looking at him wearing like a Gucci suit, not hitting the floor. Yeah.
Random, but since we mentioned BetterHelp, do you know anyone that's ever used it?
You know, okay, so when I was trying to find a therapist, because bit by the neighbor's dog, you know, whole nother story, but I needed a therapist because my mind was not right. And I didn't make it to BetterHelp, but I was real close. I was going down the list of like all my local providers, and I kind of live in the boonies. And I was like, I want to meet someone in person. Dude, you live in the boonies. The boonies, kind of conservative boonies.
Yeah.
People do not care about mental health here. It does not exist.
Yeah.
And I was like, I either have to drive an hour and a half to like a local city to find a therapist, or I have to meet online. And I did find one that I could have met in person. I never met him in person. But man, I was almost on the BetterHelp. Almost made it there. But I found somebody else that actually accepted partial insurance. But man, no, I don't know anyone that's done BetterHelp. Do you? I feel like I would do it. I feel like it doesn't sound like a bad like offer.
I should clarify that I don't know all the reasons why people hated on them. I knew the bad therapists, but I think there was issues with them selling data, which was not chill of them. But one of my buddies used BetterHelp, maybe even uses. I don't exactly know if he still does. But he was like loving it. He was like, yeah, it works great.
Good.
And so I was like, imagine if I was in a spot, or like the podcast was in a spot where we could be ripping BetterHelp ads. And I'd have been like, yeah, they're great. My buddy says so. People like they're selling data that you're sad.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I guess I don't know the selling data part either. All I heard was the licensing thing, that like these people don't have degrees. And my therapist doesn't have a degree to be a therapist. He has like a certificate, and he has a degree in like psych or something, but he's not a doctor. They're not psychiatrists. Like, I don't think you need a degree. Don't you just kind of need a license? And I think the license is like a 3-week course. It's not like it's this big bar, unless I'm completely speaking out my ass, which I could be.
I think it depends. I think my therapist, she's like I think she's a master's. Can you just start practicing that? Dude, this is why we shouldn't be. Actually, we should shut this podcast down because we're just speculating. We're like, well, you either need a master's degree or you need no degree to be a therapist. And I would assume it's like you need like at least a 4-year degree.
It says a bachelor's degree.
But I think
and a license. And the process to get the license does not sound hard.
I think there's like a loophole where people don't call themselves therapists, but they call themselves like some like advisors.
You're talking about exactly what I ran into, because I ran into all these people who were like literally like 20, 25, and they're like, I'm a therapist. And I was like, are you? And I think they called themselves like a family help services or something.
It's something. I was like,
it's not always the same thing. And they're like, we don't accept insurance. And I was like, okay, why don't you accept insurance?
No insurance or credit cards. Cash only.
Cash only. Or banker's check. You
Yeah.
give me one of those. There is some sort of loophole there, but I believe that might have been one of the issues with BetterHelp. I don't know if it's been fixed.
I don't know. This is a random thing, but I don't know if you've heard about this. There's like this Poppy versus Olipop drama going on TikTok. Maybe I might be exposing myself.
I love a probiotic soda, if that's what we're going at.
The only reason I thought about this is because I do have an Olipop right here. This is not a paid promotion. Not a paid promotion.
Logo facing out. This is an Olipop right here.
This is the way I'll tell you it's not a promotion is because it doesn't taste that good. But I heard this drama going on, and I never had any of them. And so I was like, all right. I bought a Poppy. Bought an Olipop that day because I want to know which side of the beef I want to be on.
Okay.
Now,
you want to be on the right side of history there?
I want to be on the right side of history. I'm an Olipop guy. Yeah,
so what are you?
Well, okay. Let me explain the drama to you.
Sure.
I think what happened is, man, I'm going to get it backwards. I believe Poppy spent like millions of dollars for a Super Bowl ad. But they also had this influencer campaign building up to that. And it was like they sent vending machines to influencers' houses.
I saw this. Yep.
Okay, so I'm right. Yeah. And that's the drama. People were upset at the concept that like influencers got sent vending machines. I'm going to be honest, that's pretty dumb. It's pretty dumb that we're upset about that. Like They're like,
oh, did they say they were like over consuming or like it was like
no, because the people just kept them for like 3 days, like, and then Olipop Poppy was gonna take them back, but people was all mad about that. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, obviously, it's just a marketing stunt, obviously, and we're upset that they have custom vending machine. I thought it was something cool.
I'll give you
Cancel
a story.
me. No.
Cancel me. I thought it was cool. I want the Olipop. Josh was looking for a Monster Energy mini fridge. And he saw one, like somebody won it online one time, and he went down this deep rabbit hole. They have never sold a Monster mini fridge, and he found one on Craigslist. And then he's like, how's this dude got a Monster mini fridge? And he's like trying to look it up. They're only loaned to like gas stations and stuff, and they have to be given back to Monster. So the one he found on Craigslist was a stolen
No, did he
Monster
get it?
mini fridge. No, dude. He was like, now I'm gonna have a stolen. Like he wanted it when he was being a streamer, and he's like, I want it in my shots. And he's like,
dude, that's
now
true.
I'm gonna have a stolen Monster mini fridge in all of his shots because they do not sell them. They're only loaners. And there was like one in a contest at some point. You could get like a decal of like the Monster logo and put it on one, but this was like one where like the logo, the claws on the front of the fridge actually lit up. Like with the glass, and I was like, well, it goes kind of hard.
Dude, the first company that reaches out to me, not even offers me money, it just goes, hey, do you want a mini fridge? There's my soul. It's yours.
I have a black, don't even know the brand, mini fridge over here that I would love to replace with a Poppy, Monster, Coca-Cola. I like a little DP. I like a little Dr. Pepper. Yeah, there's a lot of things I like. I could replace that mini fridge with many things, and I'll even move it over here to where this table is. So you are dead center of all my shots. There's an opportunity there. You might get, 500 impressions a month from.
That's huge. Look,
wild.
Look, I know we don't have the most listeners, right? We're at the beginning of the train, beginning of the journey. But one of you might have some pull. Maybe one of you knows someone. Be like, hey, do you think you guys could send a mini fridge to my 5th favorite podcasters?
You get a mini fridge. They get advertisement on a podcast that gets 70 views an episode right now. Come on. This could be an investment on the ground floor.
Yeah.
You're getting in ground floor.
I won't even tuck it behind my bed when we're not filming. I'll leave it out. This is so stupid.
What banter.
On the topic of random things I've stumbled on TikTok, this is, by the way, this is just my active thoughts. This is just everything that I think about. It's just the random stuff I've seen on TikTok in the past week. This is the stupidest thing. Did you know Zac Efron doesn't do the singing in High School Musical?
I heard this back when like High School Musical 3 dropped or something. He sang one song, I believe. I believe they said he sang one song, and then there's some other guy. And I remember because I was trying to look up Zac Efron on Spotify. You can't look him up because it doesn't show up. There's some other guy. So like, what?
Yeah, no, it's already exited the brain who the other guy is because it's really not that important to me. But I was shocked to learn that he didn't do it. And the guy who they that does all the singing looks like a perfect fit for the character. I don't understand who Zac Efron was blackmailing to get this starring gig for all three of these movies.
He you know, if I could, the Bet on It song was running through my mind for years when I was like 13. You bet on it, bet on it.
Oh, whoa, we're gonna get a copyright strike. That was, that was right on.
The way I was the lip singer for Zac Efron. That was me, the ghost singer, the ghost singer for Zac Efron. But
I know the dance.
Why do you know the dance? Did you
had to do it fourth grade talent show?
Fourth grade talent show.
Together, once we know who we are. Y'all didn't expect me to break that out.
Hold up.
If you're listening on Spotify, I mean, just pull up the YouTube right quick.
Dude, that was insane. Man. That was insane.
Pretty good though, right?
No, it was pretty. It was
what'd you give me? What would you give me out of 10?
6.2.
Actually, I'll take that. What better talent would I have, or would you have if you had to do a talent show right now? You're not going against fourth graders. You're not fighting third graders. Okay, we're not doing that again. But where do you think you are? Yeah, as an adult. Like if you had to enter a talent show tomorrow, what are you doing?
I think I'm picking low hanging fruit here. I think I'd do a stand up comic set. I think I would try and write a 5-minute stand-up skit. I think I could do it.
We're way too confident. We are way too confident because that was also my answer. We are. I have to pivot. I would do an improv set. I could do that.
Is that not different? How is that different from the comic?
I take something from the crowd.
You would do crowd crowd bits.
I do crowd work.
Just crowd work for 5 minutes. They're like, dude, the next person's juggling. You're doing crowd work.
Doing crowd work is just the three panel, like three judges. But okay, aside from
where do you work during the day?
Yeah, so I have a podcast. No. Okay, outside, if it wasn't stand-up, what are you doing?
I think I would just try and embarrass myself and do like a very bad dance. I think I would probably go like the route of like, it's funny because I can laugh at myself type thing. I'm thinking Timothée Chalamet when he did his crazy dance sing thing when he was like 16 for a talent show. I thought that was pretty funny. So I think that's probably the route I would go. It wouldn't be as funny because I'm a 30-year-old adult. But I don't think I have any other good talent. You got anything? Can you juggle? Can you dance?
Is juggle the bar? I can juggle for like 3 seconds.
Magic? Do you know any good magic tricks? Maybe you're pull a bunny out of a hat?
No, I don't have any hats.
That's a problem.
Yeah, I don't think I'm realizing in this moment. I think I might just do a Rubik's Cube and hope I get lucky.
That, if you got lucky on the Rubik's Cube, that would actually be impressive. That'd be
maybe a little bit of cup stacking.
Very 2010 of you. You do that little thing where you. What is it? Where they tap on the cup?
The cup dance.
The cup dance? Cup song?
Cup song.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Man, one day we should just go back through all the horrors of the early 2000s
I got an idea for a YouTube video. You and I do a talent show, and we take like user submissions.
I have another idea for a YouTube video. You and I make out, don't record it.
Of course. Hell of an idea. Hell of an idea.
Yes. All right, Noah, what do you say we get back to saving the world, answer a few of these questions?
Let's get back to saving the world. All right, we are jumping over to our intern inbox questions. And if you guys want your questions answered on the next episode of Professional Interns, or, just giving advice, please write into us at ProfessionalInternsPodcast@gmail.com. And for the first question we got here, Jamie, we got girl pooped in the communal dorm shower. And this was sent by a listener. Hi, interns. I don't need advice, but that poop story around episode 2 or 3 prompted me to write to you. Spoiler alert, this is kind of gross. Back when I was in college, we received an email about where to appropriately poop in the bathrooms. Apparently, some girl had pooped in one of the communal showers, and the texture of the said poop was so thick that it couldn't pass through the drain. And I guess she left it there for somebody else to find because another girl had to report it. Afterwards, the janitor had to clean it up, and they had to pay her extra because of how disgusting the cleanup was. And the fact that she had to pick up human feces aside from her regular dorm cleaning definitely required more compensation than usual. We never found out who did it and if they got punished for it. I just can't help but think about the poop janitor and if the girl is okay, because what could have happened for her to have pooped in the shower instead of the toilet. Happy interning, Jamie.
I do want to call out one thing, and that it said the poor janitor, but I also internally read it as the poop janitor.
Oh, it said the porch.
Yeah, I'm so glad you shared this story with us. Thank you so much. And I felt it was very important to put this on the podcast. In case that girl is out there, in case one of you is preparing to go to college, and hey, maybe you might drop a dookie in the shower. So I think maybe we give a little bit of advice. If somebody gets caught in the situation of dropping a turd in the shower, and maybe what to do if you stumble in upon said turd.
Okay. Let's hear it, Jamie. You can kick that off. Let's start with let's start if you walked in on a turd in the shower. What is your response?
I think I think we start with the person who dropped the turd, because I think we got to start at conception.
Sure.
First off, all right, you drop a turd in the shower. Look, I don't know how you did that. It seems like an active choice. Shouldn't have made that choice, but you did. So, first thing we gotta do is scope out that drain. What's the drainage situation looking like here? I feel like it's normally a grate drain, which is
100%.
Like, that's what I think you'd find in a dorm, but maybe it's fancy, maybe it's something weird. I mean, it's your poop. You probably gotta mush it down the drain.
Are you a dog mom? You might happen. I could go into one of my coats right now and I got a poop bag. Not used, poop bag in that pocket. I would run back to my room, close the shower curtain, leave the water on, find a bag or something, and just scoop it up like an animal poop and pretend like nothing happened. I'm telling you, this.
Well, you know what? They have a shower caddy with them, probably.
Ooh.
So maybe you scoop it into the shower caddy.
Into your shower caddy? I would try and find a plastic bag myself. I think I would leave the shower running, close the curtain. Everyone will assume there's someone in there. I would even take the freaking trash bag out of the trash container in the shower. You got. I think you can't leave it. That's the last thing you can do. You can't leave it.
Well, I mean, clearly you can leave it. You shouldn't leave it, but you can.
You're gonna make a poop janitor. Come on,
dude. The poor poop janitor.
Poop janitor.
I'm just gonna say this now. I don't think the janitor got paid any extra.
They should have been.
They should have been 100% deserving. I don't think they did. And they definitely didn't catch the person who laid this log.
No.
I want to know, the person who wrote this, I'm not going to say your name because you didn't sign off with it, but how did you find out about this? Did you say? Oh, you got an email. You got an email. Did they say in the email? They're like, whoever pooped in the shower, it was too thick to go down the drain.
How do you get all this? Or maybe they're just friends with the janitor.
With the poop.
I respect it. With the poop janitor. I don't know.
Maybe they're close to the janitor, and that's how they know they got paid more.
Oh, they were given a little bonus, you know?
A little. What kind of bonus you getting for scooping the pooping?
Not enough.
Not enough. Okay, let's give some advice to the janitor here.
Sure.
You gotta scoop up a turd. You know, you don't have like a dog poop picker up, or how are you going at this?
I am using the broom and pail situation.
Yep.
Pushing it into the pail, and I'm going to take both those outside and spray them off with the hose, and then get them with some bleach, pour it on it, and keep getting them with the hose because I ain't touching that.
Dude, that's perfect.
That'd be my go-to. Yeah.
I think honestly that was going to be my same approach. I was going to throw them away, but I like the reusability there.
I'm economical. These college dorms, these janitors, they don't get a lot of supplies. I don't think they gotta stretch what they got, and you can't just go throwing out brooms because it touched a little poop.
And maybe you keep it because it's gonna happen again.
You keep it as the poop. You mark it with a little tag that says poop broom.
Yeah. Like, oh, go get the poop broom. Yeah, but I know there's no real advice to give here.
No.
But whoever did this, I think we should just talk to you real quick. What the fuck? What are you doing?
And the fact it couldn't go down the drain, it means it was solid, which means you probably didn't have a tummy ache. What are you doing?
Yeah. First off, eat less fiber. What the hell? Stop drinking the Ollipops, the poppies.
These probe sods are really, they're really dense in an upper elbow.
Stop ripping those probe sods.
Yeah, what the hell? What are we doing?
And don't poop in the shower.
Come on, you don't want to be that person. What if someone caught you? You want to be that person? You want to be the girl who pooped in the shower? You don't want to be that girl.
I've been the girl who pooped in the shower. It's not fun.
It's not great.
All right, let's jump into the next question. All right, our next question. How do I gain the social skills required to be normal? I know what things are unacceptable. I just don't know it in the moment. Today, I knocked on an important person's office door, and I thought he said yes, as in come in, but apparently he didn't. I came in, and he was changing. For some reason, it didn't even process in the moment that meant I should leave. I don't know what's wrong with me, and I didn't see that. I just started talking, and he said he'd help me in a little and asked me to close the door. How do I fix this? This itself doesn't sound that incriminating. There is more to this message that I think is far more incriminating. I think this sounds a little innocent. You might take yes as in come in.
Mm-hmm.
Not the end of the world. Weird as hell that you didn't leave when you saw somebody naked or changing. That's on you.
How do you gain the social skills required to be normal? That was the question, Jamie. How do you acquire those social skills? Watch a lot of films about social skills.
Are we miracle workers here? I don't think it's happening.
I feel like I would just continue trying to I think I would try and put him up. I think I would try and force myself to be as normal as possible, I guess, and just be as lightly intrusive as in other people's space as humanly possible. I think that would probably be the move. And then I think you're going to slowly be able to push that barrier. And then as you slowly push that, you'll get some pushback, and that's where normal is. And I think that's kind of how like everyone figures it out, right? Like you kind of
you
play
it
it
out.
safe, and you keep taking a little bit more risks. It's like, you got to figure out what you can get away with. The parents who keep taking a little bit more risks, and then that time when you're grounded, that's like, okay, so that's too far. But what I did last week, that wasn't too far. So I go back to like just doing what I did last week, and then maybe later you could re-push it. But I think you got to like play it really safe, really conservative, especially if you know you don't have those social skills, and then you could slowly bump it up.
Yeah, erring on the side of caution is probably the better.
Yeah.
But let me read some of the other things that they've done.
Oh, okay. Will this make me reassess?
Yeah, this will make you reassess.
Okay.
And they said, some of the other things I've done and only realized after how obvious it was that I shouldn't do it. By the way, please don't judge me. I feel awful about all of it.
Okay.
Just quick gut reaction. What do you think? They said they cut people off while talking or walking.
Okay. I think I probably do the same thing. I don't think it's...
Talking is, I think, you just got to slow down a little bit and, like, actually listen. Sounds like you're waiting for your turn to speak. That's not how it should be. Walking, I think you got to be a little patient.
It feels like these are both... Actually, kind of all... those two, and then the other one kind of feels like you're just trying to, like... You're pushing a little too hard. Take a breath. Assess the situation. What else we got, Jamie?
They said, I joked at a funeral, not about the funeral, as if I was at any other place. I think that's fine.
I've done that. I feel like sometimes it breaks the mood. I think even at a funeral, I don't think people really want to be sad. So I don't think it's that bad. As long as you're not making a spectacle out of yourself, it's still not about you. So
it also depends how much you know the person. Like,
or who are you making the joke to?
Yeah,
I hope you're not making the joke in the the session line.
Yeah, yeah. I'm working on my type 5 at the open casket.
Yeah.
What's the deal with funeral food? That's so dumb. I'm moving on. I'm so sorry. They said I punched someone in a sparring match while he was looking away because someone else accidentally bumped into him in our sparring ring.
I didn't
expect you to be a sparrer, to be quite honest, but that just sounds like chalk that one up to the game. That just happens.
If you're in the ring, you always got to keep them hands up. You're always can get hit, so it feels fair.
Yeah, this is the real cream of the crop here. They said, I pushed past a pregnant woman when someone else was holding the door for her, not me.
Push past pregnant woman?
Yeah, that's the one I read that made me kind of shift.
Pregnant woman's seat on the train. She was adjusting, and I snuck in there quick and took the seat. Come on. What are we? It just feels like it's either they're in their own world,
100% that,
or they're just like really trying to get places and do things really quick. And I think this is just, isn't this just all of America? Everyone's moving too fast. Everyone just needs to take a breath.
Yeah.
Enjoy the scenery.
Yeah, you're going too fast. You're in your own world because you're going at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Take a breath, go a little bit slower. You'll be fine.
And do we have any more?
They said they also are constantly bumping into people and just making general mistakes.
Slow down.
Slow the hell down.
You got that American
roses.
Yeah, you got that American like personality where everything, I get more New England, I guess, where everything's like go, go, go.
Yeah. Look, there's no more land left to conquer.
You can't go claim the South, the West, gold rush. I don't know what I'm saying. I was like, where am I going with this?
You're like, oh, you're definitely trying to get back on track. You're like, next question, please.
How to politely ask for gas money. Hi, I'm 17 and most of my close friends don't have their licenses. As a result, I'm usually driving them places which I don't mind. My problem is is having to pick up and drop off people, especially when they're 20 to 30 minutes out of the way. The other day, what should have been a 30-minute ride home turned into an hour because I needed to drop my friend off. Not only is it draining and I hate it, but it's expensive. I barely make enough money a month to cover gas. So I have nearly no spending money for food and personal stuff. How do I politely ask my friends to pay me for gas money? I don't want to have to ask them every single time, but I can't keep living like this.
All right, let's give them the boring, real advice first so we can tell them stupid stuff that'll ruin their life.
Sure.
Be honest, have a conversation with people, and say no. If you don't have to be their little taxi, their little Uber. If they're 17, by the way, like, they could have their license. For whatever reason they don't, like, maybe that's circumstantial, maybe that's a choice. Doesn't matter. That's their problem, not yours. They're your friend and you want to help them out, and it sounds like you've been doing that, but you don't have to bend to every single one of their desires, one of their calls. They want to go here. Pick me up from baseball practice. Buddy, get to stepping.
I agree. I think you just have to have that conversation. Like, the boring answer is you're going to have an uncomfortable conversation. It'll make you feel better when you're done. You'll have a little more money in your pocket. I don't think it's unreasonable to expect a couple bucks, especially at the age of 17, where money's real tight at that point. Like, now at my age, if I was asking for gas money, I feel like I'd seem a little, I don't know, maybe a little cheap there. But at the age of 17, gas money, that's a normal thing to ask for. Like, they should honestly be expected to give that to you. So having that conversation doesn't feel super weird. I would just sit down and be like, hey, can I drove you here. Could I have gas money? Like, I think you'd be fine. Now to the fun advice, Jamie. Yeah. What do you got?
All right. Look, why sit your friends down and be like, hey, it costs a lot of money. I'm driving you a lot of places. Never mind deterioration and depreciation of my car. Don't have that conversation. That's boring, and you're going to be known as the school loser. Instead, you could start going out for food with some of your friends. All right, hear me out. Go out for food, and then, like, when you order, maybe you go to like a McDonald's or something. Go, oh no, I left my card at my house.
Damn it again,
Jimmy. Will you spot me? They'll pay for you because, you drove them there. Of course they're going to spot you. And then never pay them back.
I don't hate that idea. I would consistently do the trade. I'll pick you up, but you're covering my few double burgers. That's what you're covering. And that used to be like 99 cents a burger. Now it's like $2.50. So now that's kind of stretching it. But yeah I feel like bad advice that's somehow good.
I got
more. You know what? You tell them you're going to pick them up, and you don't pick them up. You call them an Uber, and you use the card you stole from them to pay for the Uber that's picking them up.
Okay. I feel like this is...
you get better taxi. You get them a taxi where the taxi driver expects them to pay. Like, you call the taxi and act like you're them. And you're like, hey, can you come pick me up from baseball practice and drive me here? And then the taxi comes, and then the taxi person gets that uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah. And then they'll be like, yo, Noah, why did you call a taxi for me? And then be like, you can be like, oh, the taxi driver didn't like it when you didn't pay? Well, neither do I.
And then you drop the mic.
Yeah, you drop the mic.
You drop the mic.
Or, okay, I get another idea here.
Okay. Let's keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Steal things from their house, approximately equal in value.
Approximately equal in value.
Keep a mileage log, and then your buddy can be like, "Where the hell did my PlayStation go?" You go, "Oh, I think we lost it somewhere in that 35 rides to Walmart and back."
If they lose their phone in your car, they didn't lose their phone in your car. That's your phone.
That's your second phone.
You're pawning that. You're pawning that. And you know what? They can buy it back when they find the gas money that they owe you. And you only pawn it for the value of the gas money. Mm-hmm. So you're like, this is an iPhone. In the pawn shop, they'll, of course, take the iPhone for $20, which is the gas money they owe you. Then you're just like, hey, you can pick it up from the pawn shop down the road. $20. That's all I pawned it for. You can get it back really easy.
That's crazy behavior. Pretty good, though. Pretty good. Steal your stuff and pawn it.
Pretty good to earn intern advice. I'm just saying.
I've got one more fantastic piece of advice. I think this will solve all their problems. And it's an intern classic. sleep with their dad.
There it is. We were waiting.
We figured it out.
It always got to come full circle. It's always got to.
Actually, I want to go back to the poop one as well.
Oh, okay.
Sleep with the poop janitor. All right, there we go. Poop janitor. Sleep with poop girl's dad.
Poop girl's boyfriend in her dorm. You have a key that opens probably every dorm room in that goddamn place.
This is actually great advice. We didn't even think about that. I think all our advice pretty much always should boil down to destroy somebody's life by revenge, hooking up with somebody important in their life. Mom, dad, boyfriend, grandpa, don't matter.
Everyone's fair game where you be laying poops and not paying gas money. That's all I'm saying.
Noah?
The interns did it again.
The interns did it again.
And if you want your advice answered on the next Professional Interns podcast, please send in your questions. Send in your stories like Poop Girl here.
Yeah.
Send in your questions. Send in your stories to ProfessionalInternsPodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, it doesn't even you don't need advice. You can give us a good story and we'll retroactively give advice.
Let's go.
But you can send that in. Noah, what you got coming up? What's new on the horizon for you?
What is new on the horizon? I got nothing coming up. I got normal YouTube videos. We got that Sim series going over on Big Blue Bug Gaming. I also started a No Man's Sky playthrough with webcam. I really got nothing coming up. What about you, Jamie? What do you got coming up?
You do have one thing coming up for something I haven't told you about. I'm realizing until this moment. We are dropping a new video on this channel called the Lunch Break. Lunch Break, I think that's what we're calling it. Look, it's a working title.
I think that's what we're cooking with it.
Or it should be out. By the time this video goes out, this will be out next Monday. It should be out either by the time this goes live or within a week of this going live. So before the next episode. But you can check those out. We're gonna try to do 2 of those a month here on the channel. The Lunch Break, just me and Noah riffing, reacting to some stuff. It's a format that's been done before. We're not pioneers of nothing around here. But you can check that out on the channel. Especially people who are a fan of my style of content, you'll be a big fan of it. If you're a fan of the podcast, you'll definitely be a big fan of it. As for me, what's coming up? Yeah, forget when this is going live. I might have a new video posted. I'm working on it. I'm in the editing process for it. But it's a certified Jamie classic, another bad movie review. I made you some content.
What we've been
open wide.
What type of movie are you reviewing this time? Can we get a vague little hint for the podcast listeners?
Have you ever seen those what are they, like the movies that are on those apps? They're all vertical videos.
Yeah, Tubi?
Not Tubi. Quibi was the old one.
Quibi. Yep.
But now there's a bunch of, I don't exactly know how they're propped up. They've got a lot of videos, a lot of movies, and I watched one of them 4 times. I really have to get my process for filming this down a bit better, but I've watched it 4 times as of now. It's like an hour and 40 minutes. That's so much of my life I'll never get back.
In vertical, filmed all in vertical.
All in vertical.
Let's go. That is how they should film every movie. That's the next Interstellar 2 is going to be filmed.
Interstellar 2, 1 minute segments, vertical. But that video is going to be coming out. If it's not out by the time this podcast is out, you can leave a comment. You can be like, Jamie, stop being a piece of shit.
Edit the video.
It'll either be out this Friday, which means that it would be out before this podcast goes live, or it'll be out next Friday. In which, get off your high horse. Wait 5 days. I'm working on it.
Perfect.
Leave a review of the podcast, please. We're begging. I mean, come on. You made it to the end of the hour. You can't even give us a little 5 stars. You should see how Noah smiles when I tell him about the 5 stars. I mean, the look in his eyes. Don't do it. You don't have to do it for me, but do it for Noah.
There it is. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.